Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today is Thursday. We're going to read some stories of tzaddikim, 2 stories I think, and the theme of today's stories are not relying on other people, v'al tetztorich lebriyos, to other people, you should only rely on Hashem. So the first story is a little bit long, the second story is kind of short, but it shows a lot of hashgacha and different things, so they're pretty cool. The first story is a Baal Shem Tov story, and let's read it. So it says that one time on Friday night by the Shabbos meal, the Baal Shem Tov was sitting there. They were sitting by the table, him and his students and everybody, and the Baal Shem Tov was, singing Shalom Aleichem, and he made Kiddush, and right after Kiddush, the Baal Shem Tov's face changed and he started laughing. He laughed. So the students, when the Baal Shem Tov did anything interesting, the students paid attention. People looked at what every single move that he made to realize what was going on, like in the bigger picture of things. So the Baal Shem Tov, so the students thought, right, that he saw something, like I just said, like they were thinking about it, and he was able to see other things, and therefore he laughed, right? But they didn't ask any questions. Anyway, the Suda went on. It was very, very holy. They were saying Torah, and they were talking and different things. And again, in the middle of the Suda, again, the Baal Shem Tov laughed, right? And the students realized that there was something much bigger going on over here. But of course, they couldn't really ask him, not yet at least. So the Suda went on. Very, very late. And before benching, when they bought the Mayim Achroinim, the water that you wash your hands with before benching, again, he laughed again, right? And the students were like already, okay, fine. This is like, this is already wild for the Baal Shem Tov to laugh 3 times in the middle of the meal. So they wanted to ask him, but they had to wait for the time to do it, right? But they couldn't find a time. And the Baal Shem Tov, the Shabbos, passed, they daven, Shachris, everything, and then Shabbos is over. So now, with Shabbos over, the Baal Shem Tov said, you got to prepare the wagons, right? He wants to go out on a journey. And when he knew that the Baal Shem Tov was going out on a journey, so something big was going to happen. So he took a few students, and they went on the wagon, and they traveled the whole entire night until they got to the city of Kuznets. Right? Baal Shem Tov went. He knocked on one of the doors of his students who lived there. The student was very shocked to see him, and he said, "Can I stay by you?" And the students, of course, and they daven Shachris there, and everything. And after they daven Shachris, he asked the student, he would like to meet Rav Shapsi, who is the Svarim binder, the Koyrech HaSvarim. He binds Svarim together, of the city, and his wife. This guy, Rav Shapsi, and his wife. So of course the student went, and he got these people, and they looked like very, an older couple, very tmimis and pshitis, and they were also very confused and shocked as why the Baal Shem Tov called them Dafka. They didn't even know that he was in the city, but they went, of course. So when they came, the Baal Shem Tov said to Rav Shapsi, he said, "Tell me exactly what happened in your house on Friday night. Tell everything and don't leave anything out." So the guy was like, "Okay, what can I say?" So he started telling the story. He said, "My parnasa comes from binding Svarim together. When I was younger, I had a lot of parnasa. I was able to work, a lot. And every single Thursday, I would bring my wife money for Shabbos food, a lot of money and everything, and we would have these awesome big Shabbosim and all the food and everything we needed, right? But many years have passed, and I lost a lot of my strength, and I can't work as fast anymore, and also my parnasa. So therefore my parnasa has gone down a lot, right? And also the amount of money that I could bring in to my wife is not enough for the whole entire Shabbos. But I still think Hashem Right? I never really felt, bitter about my situation. Adarabba, on the other hand, really, in fact, I was actually happy with my chelik that I got, and I thanked Hashem for everything. But this past week was a very, very hard week. I didn't have any work at all. And Thursday came. Friday, I didn't have any money. I didn't have even one pruta for Shabbos. Right? But I decided that it's better for me to fast than to ask for help from other people. Right? And I said, Hichlati, I decided I'm not going to take a pruta from anybody, and also told my wife not to do the same. And my wife promised me that she would do this. And at 10 o'clock in the morning, I went out to the shul, to the Beis Medrash, whatever, to learn daven, whatever it was, right? Or that's when he used to stay. He would stay the whole entire day in the shul until after Kabbalah Shabbos and Ma'ariv, right? But also after I finished already davening, I didn't really want to go back to my house, right? Because where am I going to go? Because I don't have any food. And second of all, I was going to wonder if people were going to ask me, why don't you have a candle lit in your house? He didn't have money for a candle, Nebuch, poor guy. And he didn't want to be embarrassed. So after everyone left, I waited a little bit, and then I went out from the shul. And when I came close to my house, I was very surprised to see that there was a great light, coming from the windows. Right? So I already thought, okay, my wife probably, she couldn't handle it, so she asked, somebody for money or whatever it was. And I came into my house and I found all the things. On the table there was challahs and fresh challahs and bottles of wine and fish and everything. And I was already getting very angry at my wife, right, that she didn't listen to me. But I said, you know what? I don't want to mess up Simcha Shabbos right now. So I made kiddush on the wine. I did the challahs. And after achilas dogim, after we ate the fish, I turned to my wife in a soft voice and I asked her, what's going on? Like, where did all this shefa come from? Right? Her eyes were shining, kind of. She said, I did not take any help from people. She said, after I went to shul, she decided that she didn't have anything to do, she didn't have anything to cook, so she tried to clean the house very much. And as I was cleaning, I found an old dress that I thought I lost from a long time ago. And this dress had very, very nice silver buttons on them. And she decided that she took off the buttons, the silver buttons. She shined them, cleaned them, whatever, and she went to sell them. And the kesef that she got, she was able to buy all the food for Shabbos, and she made the Shabbos also. Right? So when I heard her words, I had a lot of simcha. And what's it called? And I thanked Hashem that He sent us best old dress, and we were able to have a nice Shabbos and everything like that. And we didn't rely on other people like to ask for tzedakah kilo. And from such simcha that I had, I got up from the table and I started dancing. I started dancing from such simcha. And then after the soup, I was so excited again. I was so warmed up and everything. I got so happy that I decided to dance again. And also again, after we ate the lifton and whatever the other food, whatever it was, and the kairich, this guy, this Rav Shapsi, I finished the story. So what do you say? So now he came back to himself. He was sitting in front of the Baal Shem Tov, and he said to the Rebbe, he said, Rebbe, please tell me if I sinned in my ways. Please give me tshuva, and I'll do everything you want. Right? And they said, what's like, the Baal Shem Tov and the students looked on like, what's going, like, what's sin, what's happening over here, The Baal Shem Tov's face was shining, and it was a very holy moment. And the Baal Shem Tov said, he turned to his wife, and he said, what bracha is better? Do you want to live a long life with Oisher and Kavod, or do you guys want to have a son? Because she never had a son. She I guess the guy, first of all, I'm saying about that part of the sinning part, I guess he was, like, maybe he was, I don't know. Why would he think that he sinned? I don't know why he think he sinned. Maybe he thought he sinned because he danced on Shabbos, or he was so, he was so excited. Maybe that's not like that. Okay, whatever. But anyway, they were all confused. Like, no, bro, you didn't sin. And they were like, what bracha do you want? And she said she wants a bracha for her son. Hashem Tov blessed her with that she's gonna be blessed with a son. And he said to call her, and she said to call him as the name Yisrael, like my name. And the Baal Shem Tov also asked that when she has a son, let him know so that he can come to the bris and be the Sandik. And after the Rav Shapsi and his wife went out from the Baal Shem Tov, the Baal Shem Tov turned to his students, and he said, at the time that Rav Shapsi was dancing, there was a great simcha in all the upper worlds. All the Pamalia, Shamayla, the upper palace was dancing. So I also started laughing. Also 3 times. The 3 times that he danced, I also started laughing because everyone was dancing. And the year passed, and they had a son. They called him Yisrael, and this turned out to be the Magid HaKadosh of Kuznets, who is a very, very holy tzaddik. So therefore, very cool things happened in this story. And the next story about, again, they didn't rely on people, they only relied on Hashem and the Baal Shem Tov, and there was a big nace, and that was a very good thing. This story is about Rav Zusha. We all know stories about Rav Zusha. Rav Zusha of Anapoli, he always relied on Hashem for everything. So one time, Rav Zusha visited in the house of Rav Yevi Mi Ostra, who was also a big holy tzaddik. And Rav Yevi said to his sons that they should not give any food to Rav Zusha until he asks. And the custom of Rav Zusha, that when he was hungry, he would say, Hashem, give me a essen. Zusha vil essen. Said, Hashem, give me food, I'm hungry, basically. And he said it too, he was hungry. And when he looked up and he opened up his eyes, I guess, whatever, there was no food. So he said, okay, I'll say a little kapitel tehillim. And when he said there was still no food, he said, okay, I'll say a different kapitel tehillim. And he said another kapitel tehillim. And when he finished, he looked up and a man came in, and there was a tray and he was holding a tray with all types of food, and also mayim ready for netilas yadayim. And he explained that in the morning, when Rav Zusha was going on the steps down to the mikveh, right, this rich guy that came in now, he also wanted to toivel, but he didn't want to wait, so he pushed Rav Zusha. He pushed Rav Zusha out of the way. And when this rich guy, so then the rich guy went to go toivel, and he went back home, and when he came back to his house, he felt a lot of pains in his stomach. And the pain was going more and more and more. And he realized what's going on over here. He said, this is probably because I pushed a Adam Chashuv. And Ubeir or Dasav and Adlash, he is there Rav Zusha, and he didn't know it was Rav Zusha when he pushed him. But now he realized that he pushed Rav Zusha, so he wanted it to be Mivakish Mechila. And he also decided that I'll bring food as like a forgiveness, as like a gift. And therefore Rav Zusha got his food. So that's how we see Hashem works in amazing ways, and Hivmuna and Hashkacha. It's really cool. So those are the stories for today. I hope you enjoyed. Everyone should have a blessed Shabbos, and we'll see you next week.